everybody!
Alright.
Welcome to the thing. We're finally doing it. Actually, we're doing it early. Yeah.
Hello, friends!
Yeah.
You gonna adjust the chicken in the room?
No, just to start off, I did want to bring up, as per usual, I did want to talk about the portraits. Y'all can talk about your fancy new portraits and what you think about them. So, yeah. Nathan, you're a JoJo reference.
Yeah, I am a JoJo reference.
And you should have played as... God damn it, Colaman.
Go on.
I was really expecting you to play Jotaro with that setup, but I appreciate it regardless.
The original plan was to find a costume for it. I couldn't find any particular vanity that would fit. So I just fuck it, I'm just gonna go Polnareff.
Polnareff is the better choice.
Plus it was a better choice anyway. It was easy.
He has the more distinct hair, definitely.
Yes, for sure.
What about you, TJ, and your portrait?
Mine doesn't really have way too much. I mean, naturally there's the trend that started with the anime police one, which is that I have the mask, which is, I guess it's also just a thing with just my profile picture in general. So that's nice. I wanted to have the reference for my death portrait to have the whole blood thing happen, but I gotta tone it down. So the replacement we had where it's a large chunk missing out of the mask. That was really cool. I actually really liked the creative.
Oh yeah, I thought that was cool too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had fun doing that one too.
Also, that's awesome.
Also, Kyogre, your portrait. What do you
Hi.
think?
Hey, it's got the classic Kyogre symbol, which is a very necessary thing that I have in my real life hair. Just you can't see it.
Is it a tattoo? Is it a little band that goes over? How does it work?
It's a very intense dye job that I have to do every single morning, and I have a template that goes around my head.
I should know this.
Lying.
I had to ask because Brian asked how it worked too.
It's his birthmark.
Hey,
so
legitimate.
on his hair as long as
you could probably 3D print a headband shape that could fit over your head like that.
That would be amazing. I real talk with that. I've always wondered how that would work because I would imagine it would be on both sides of the head, but would it be a hairpin? Would it be would it literally be some really weird dye thing that would not stay in shape for more than 3 seconds? I don't know. That'd be a good way to explain it, a little 3D printed thing.
You just make it on paper
imagine
and then staple it to your head and then...
Yeah. What's the back of the head look like? Is it just a line connected?
That's the hard question.
I always imagine it's the 4 lines that go for the symbol and they connect on either side of the head.
Because then you could 3D print it kind of elasticy, so kind of like a headband. So
can you do that with 3D printing?
Headphones? And I don't know if you could do it. You could do it with 3D printing, but it would have to be after you print it in a flat line. You'd have to get a heat gun and warm it up so that you could make it springy again. But
it's time to do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
good portrait.
Yeah.
It's good.
And
It's good stuff.
He did some pretty cool stuff with the death portraits. I won't go too far into that. He did good. Speaking of assets, overlay.
I'm gonna be honest. I hate doing overlays for Terraria. I hate it. But it's not Terraria's fault. It's the mix between Terraria's art style and my art style do not mesh well.
Fair. I remember we had to bring Loof on board for this one.
Yeah.
Lufia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Loof. We were also talking about the whole trophy thing because we wanted to do something to show the trophies and all that, but we didn't want to copy something like Death Wish and how they did it.
Yeah.
So your idea was the little board thing?
Yeah.
That just had all the progress, and I think that was really cool.
To be fair,
I liked the fact that it was subtle. It seemed like it was part of the background until it actually just became relevant, which was nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't listen to the last few episodes. Even after we'd beat the Ike-Cthulhu and the Slime King, I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, no, that's why I liked it, because it was very subtle and wasn't in your face hey, this is how far along we are. It was just kind of hey, in case you're just looking around and you have nothing else to look at, there's this, and you might notice that oh, that's an extra detail.
Yeah. Why would you look away from my crazy fun footage?
Yeah, why?
360p.
Yeah. Or the fucking 240 from what I'd seen of mine. Jesus Christ, I don't know what the quality I was recording on. Oh my god.
I think it was still good, Lou, because we've always had like something dynamic.
It's definitely better than the original one. The first season Terraria.
Everyone hated the original one, though. Even you admitted you hated the original one.
Let's be fair. I hate the one I did for this season. I just hate it less.
Progress.
Hell yeah.
That's just how it be. But it's
improving as an artist is just learning to hate what you do less.
Said but true.
And it's been kind of cool because everyone does like torches on the sides, but we've kind of mixed it up in the last few seasons. Except Don't Starve, we didn't have anything too dynamic
It's the PPG
there.
staple.
Like, there's a little dynamic thing each time, but I don't think it's too overbearing, if that makes sense, which is always nice.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to say about the overlay? Or I guess the fact we only did one because we were stuck on this one for a while.
Yeah, I was stuck on it so long, I'm like, I don't know if we can do more.
Yeah.
It's not like this season was super long anyway.
I'd say it was a decent length. Like, thinking about it, we've had, what? If this is supposed to be a 2020 season, I'll talk about that more later. But we did, like, what, 39 episodes for 2020? Of course, that's including post-shows, so maybe that doesn't entirely count. But you get the idea. It's been a busy year.
And,
it's so busy, it's 2021 now.
Yeah.
Halfway through 2021.
True.
Don't remind me.
God, you're.
I want to talk
Jesus
about it.
Christ.
But I did want.
Justice waits for no one.
I did want to talk about the editing process for this season a little bit. I don't have too much to say, but kind of a lot at the same time. I think the big thing with this season was this is the true successor to the first Terraria season. That was very harrowing to deal with because of how negative the reception was to the first season. So a lot of time, like, there was delays and stuff that happened, and we'll get into that, but it was also a mixture of, oh god, what can I actually do with this? It was just kind of terrifying, but I hope I did this season justice, because this was a really, really fun season to do. It definitely took one of the longest... I'd say it was the longest season to edit. I think the first Terraria was pretty long, too. Minecraft 2 was pretty extensive, but I think this kind of beats it out. If anything, it may be tied with Minecraft 2, but Minecraft 2 also had the whole custom mod pack and stuff, so that's a little different. So
I think you did a great job.
Thank you. I really hope so. I do think I've stepped up on the edits, despite everything that, all the delays that came up with this season.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of showed with all the Among Us jokes that we fucking did.
Yeah,
mean,
the
it's not
series
like
sure
it's-
is pretty dated.
It's not like it's like Among Us is irrelevant now. It's just relevant in a
Now
very
it's funny in the
different
ironic
way.
Yeah, because like when was
Unfortunately,
because I know that like it's dated by basically what the newest Smash character was. Was it Steve?
We didn't have Steve yet.
Yeah, we didn't have Steve at the time.
I think he was a
Steve. I'll
We
get
had the
into the exact
announcement.
time frame. I do want to kind of...
Wait, guys, Pokemon 512.
Huh?
What?
Pokemon.
I'm not looking it up. Dude, you're not-
512. 591.
Oh my god. I
don't-
know this.
Oh,
Lou, you're not making me do this. I'm not doing this. I know you're pulling some shit. I
I
don't
remember
want
you
to
did
know
that
what.
with Shoot before.
was.
I remember you got Shoot with that one.
I don't.
No, it's not
But-
happening.
Oh, is it? Am I gonna get got if I look it up?
Yes.
Most
Yes.
likely.
Yeah.
Something I wanted to bring up was there was an idea I forgot to implement in Don't Starve Together. Like, I completely forgot to add it in. Because all the portraits were just there, and I completely forgot to do, like, an intro thing for them. So I was like, well, that seemed like a cool idea. Let's just fucking use it for Terraria. Like, the whole... Like, the portraits are all kind of ghostly and dark, and they, like, fade in. Really happy with that idea before. It just kind of cool to actually do it.
Right.
Implement it, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, editing this season was especially interesting considering session 2 and 3. You could merge them together and they'd still be a small session, if that makes sense. They weren't entirely short, it's just the amount of stuff we used from it was so little. Like, we used, what, like 3 episodes from both sessions? Like, total?
Wow.
Jeez.
Wasn't it 3 sessions we did?
We did 4.
Oh, was it 4? Jesus.
You should know that,
See,
Nathan.
I've slept since then, okay?
It's been a while. I don't blame you.
I slept 1 time since then.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
true.
Session 2 was when we got the revenge on the eye, which was like an hour and a half. No, it was like 2.5 hours, and I cut the 2 hours into like a 2-minute montage because it's just not much really happened other than Chicken attempting to kill Nathan multiple times.
Yeah,
Hey,
failing miserably
Chicken,
the whole time.
what do you have to say about that?
Very good, Chicken. We applaud your honesty.
We'll see
You
you
may
in
be an
court.
asshole, but at least you know I respect it.
We'll see you in court.
Hey
bucko.
man, at least we
You
didn't
in court,
abandon
pal.
him. He abandoned us, okay?
See you in court. See you in court. I will submit the evidence. Nobody. Anybody?
No, I'm sorry.
Marvel 3
Yeah.
Marvel 3 Phoenix.
I never played
Oh.
Marvel 3 actually.
I'm not playing Marvel 3. The reference I was thinking of, for some reason, I'm remembering a lot of Portal 2 quotes for this season. But I was thinking of like,
I'm
There's a
about
point
to
where
start
we-
hacking.
yeah, that was a very one-off. That was a very one-off thing that I didn't think was going to get any attention at all. But like, anyway, there's like a point where like, for some reason, just like while you're trying to escape or something, Wheatley's like software is acting up. I think it's like arguing with like an inner I don't know. It's not important. He's all I remember is that he ends it off by saying, "Yeah, okay, I'll see you in court, pal."
Thank you.
Another fun thing to talk about was the trailer. I think, just judging from what y'all said, y'all seem to really like the sections I did for you, which is the first time I did
Yeah.
like a segmented trailer where everyone got their own little bit.
I don't remember my section, but I do remember liking it.
I remember
yours was the
The
I can actually
Pokemon
talk
battle.
about it a little bit.
Oh,
Roll the
yeah,
clip.
okay, yeah,
Roll the
yeah.
clip.
The symbol lights up and everything after like the
Mhm.
Pokemon intro. TJ's was just
I remember.
It had to be
I-
crypt, didn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember that like at first it was just like a very simple idea, just like, okay, what's a game I'm synonymous with that's not Mario 64? Well, I play Necrodancer, and I wanna solidify my title as the hardcore community member who likes Necrodancer the most. I'm coming for your title, Ryo. Anyway, there's just that, and then just like one random day, I don't remember what caused me to come up with this idea, but I was just like, if I'm really wanting to go for the approach of me being me, but not but trying to avoid the whole entire A-Press thing, I do have another viral tweet that just got way more attention
Oh
than
god,
it
he
was
said
worth.
the funny, didn't he?
Yeah, so what we did is he just messaged me. He's like, so this tweet's viral. I think it would be funny if I recorded that and you just snuck that in the trailer. And I'm like, okay. And apparently he didn't think I was just gonna approve it immediately.
Yeah, because like the reason I doubted it was because I forgot. I originally approached Phoebe about it because I forgot that we already kind of talked about what we would do for my trailer, and then it was just like it would be really funny. Like right before it reveals my name, it just shows my tweet with me saying, "You can take a shit at Animal Crossing New Horizons." And then it came out better than I ever could have imagined, and just the absolute just whiplash of just the very dramatic buildup of Necrodancer music, only for it to just cut out and have that quote is still one of
I
the
also
most
love how,
cinematic masterpieces I've ever been involved in.
I also love how that voice clip was used for when I was like, I can still hear his voice, and then you like, and then it cuts
Oh,
to like DJ going, "You can take
Yeah,
a
yeah.
shit in Animal Crossing."
Very good.
That was
He's
actually
dying.
not in the draft, and then TJ's like, you should add this here. And I'm like, oh, I'm fucking
Wait, I
adding
made the
that
note
there.
of that?
Yeah, you did. You told me that. You said,
Oh my
hey, it
God.
would be funny if you added that there. And essentially, just like in the trailer, you said, you should add this. I essentially just went, okay, and did it.
That's another thing that might be worth just bringing up, is just kind of how this season I kind of had a large role as just the person who just watched every single draft and gave you a huge Cliff Notes worth of notes just on what I suggest doing.
Add this, maybe take this out, maybe do this, that, or the other. It's
I
like,
think that's just
nope.
I think that's just the result of just like 3 years of trying to do a hardcore season and actually finally having a chance to have some level of input on anything.
It reminds me a lot of in Don't Starve, because Nate was very helpful in setting that season up. So you essentially took Nate's role there. But yeah, I think the trailer came out pretty well. I think everybody's sections, Nathan's was just JoJo reference. That was...
Yeah. I'm sure Toad hates me now.
You gotta leave that as your profile picture so he's always reminded. There were a couple issues with this season. That was mostly like little rendering stuff. When I would render an episode, it would take like 6 fucking hours to render. No other episode in any other season I did took that long, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Did you figure that out?
No.
It's just like, all right.
It just did that.
YouTube?
Yeah.
I mean, you're playing on a $300 laptop from 2011.
Shush. Anyways.
Okay, I think I understand a little bit better now.
Computer.
But
I'm being slightly hyperbolic.
in the past, there have been a lot of very strange images that have happened through rendering, like Topin's face being split in half.
Nice.
And him basically being a Triclops because it was like mirrored and shit, and it looked very strange.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Or portraits could just vanish. Or Chicken replaced me at some point. Or Will replaced Chicken.
Yeah.
It's like,
Uh-oh.
it's just random shit like that. But that didn't really happen this season. I assume might be why it took longer. I don't know if I fixed that problem, but it was like, well, to compensate for that, we gotta take an extra 3 hours. The one thing I'm still so mad about is there was a montage I did. It was in episode 10, I believe. Yes, it was episode 10 because it was after Chicken died. I used Halo music for it, and then they were like, copyright claim. It's not even fucking public yet. So the day before release, I had to fucking crunch in, like, what do I do? What do I replace it with? And I found... Actually, it should be in Messages with you, TJ. I found a good song Kamix did.
Yeah, you just freaking... I remember I'm just like on my computer, I think it's like at 3 a.m. my time. I was like, what are you still doing awake? You should just delay the episode. This is not worth the effort. But then you just kind of look through Kamix and stuff and just immediately found something like, alright, if you're going to fix the problem that quickly, then I guess keep doing it. But like, if it were me, I don't have like any music resources, and should I ever get to doing my own season, that's going to be a huge problem, I'm sure. All I remember is like, this is not worth it, my dude. You don't have to do this to yourself.
And then, like, within, like, a half hour, I'm like, hey, it's already done. And you're like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
No.
I was just kind of like, I gotta make sure it's done, and I want to get to sleep at a reasonable time. So, I just
No, you
crunched
don't.
as fast
You
as
never
possible.
go to bed at a reasonable time.
I gotta release
Sleep at a
episodes
reasonable
I do, except the
time?
one time I didn't. Anyways.
Can I clarify what time it is for me right now?
What time is it for you?
It's 4:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Going to sleep at normal time doesn't exist in this world, guys.
No,
Just
it's
clarify
not
that
in
now.
this hardcore.
Yeah.
You're just preparing for when you want to become a streamer.
Mainstream.
Streaming. We can bump to the scheduling part of this now because it's related. Because we started recording in like September and finished in October. It didn't take too long to wrap that up. I think
It's really funny.
You go first.
Sorry.
In that time
It's really
frame,
funny because
I
the
moved
time
3
frame.
times.
The funny part about the time frame is that like my portrait is now like obsolete because my hair is so much longer.
Don't mind, do not worry about that, dude.
I get haircuts.
I know. I refuse.
My hair's much longer now.
I am in a stalemate with my family where every time they make a snide comment about my hair, I push back the haircut by 1 month. It's genius.
See,
You get...
I did that, and now they have to use different pronouns, but so.
Hey, I just noticed my mic has been like orange for like 10 minutes.
Oh no!
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh no.
Some real riveting commentary from me, I assure you.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Chicken?
Thank you.
Really, Chicken? Really?
So,
Please clap.
Thing is if we're talking about hair length in portraits, my hair has never been correct in any portrait.
Well, that's because the first one was technically bald.
Yeah.
So
And the funniest thing is that my hair in the newer portrait is the correct length when I had the bald portrait.
That is funny.
My hair's almost to my mid-back now.
So we talked about the delays. I won't go too much into detail on that, but it pushed editing back to January, so there's a long amount of time where we couldn't do much with the season, and editing took up until April. So it gives you a general understanding of how long it took.
I called the pizza place and I tell them I want a ghost pizza. Pizza baker man says don't call or I break your fucking knees. And I tell him.
And I also wanted to bring up the poll when we were trying to figure out what the fuck to do with this season. Nathan, you were not there for that. I know Kyogre was. You were the last one on board, Nathan. We can talk about that too at some point, but we basically were stuck between, because we wanted to do something with mods, and Tmod Loader still hasn't fucking updated to have mods for 1.4.
Yes, it has. I think it has.
Not yet, no.
I thought I read it then. Oh, well.
Yeah, that didn't work out, so we had to basically go, okay, are we going to do mods? Are we going to do 1.4? We decided 1.4. It's like, okay, hard mode or expert mode? It's kind of funny because, TJ, I remember you were pushing for, why not both?
Yeah, I think Lou and I both had a certain level of confidence, like, oh yeah, we could definitely do both. But I suggested it. I didn't think we'd actually get that far, but
No,
it was like,
I don't
want the ending point to be Wall of Flesh. That's like what happens every single season of Terraria, and that's just not fun to me.
Yeah,
I want to go, for one, I just really hate the way that normal difficult Terraria seasons go, because you never actually see deaths that are interesting. I feel like in normal, regular, non-expert seasons of Terraria, almost all of the deaths are just the result of traps, and maybe just like something really just dumb. I wanted to do expert so that there was actually going to be deaths that were caused by actual monsters or bosses, and
Yeah.
I think the end result was to my liking in that regard. But I remember that I was like, okay, I want to do both, but like naturally everyone's like, okay, we can just do expert mode, but my plan is going to be, I'm just going to survive to the Wall of Flesh, and then once we get to that point, me and maybe Lou will be the ones pushing to actually do hard mode within that. And well,
Yeah,
we can see how that went.
And then,
I legitimately,
the
if I could have
gravestone.
gotten the B stuff, I probably could have gotten to the point where I could have done the, what's it called?
the Wall of Flesh.
The Wall of Flesh is easy if I could have gotten the B gear. But I'm thinking
Yeah.
the Empress of Light during the day was going to be my final thing I did.
Wait, isn't that the fucking Toho boss with the spinny
Yep.
sword that kill you in one hit?
Yeah,
Why do people still call that a Toho boss? It
Because
doesn't
it's a
feel like
Toho boss!
It's not. It does not feel like a Toho boss at all. I
It's
play
very
Calamity. I know what
Toho-like.
Toho boss are.
Haha, true.
yeah,
So
but
true,
Until you
if-
fought Supreme
if-
Calamitous, you know nothing of Toho.
so I on my main world, I haven't played Terraria in a while, but on my main world, I have a chest called Trophies. It has Terra Prismas in it. It's filled with Terra Prismas. Because I enjoy doing that fight so much during the day that I have like 50 Terra Prismas. It's two chests.
I remember we were talking about this because, like, I remember this was the main argument of whether we want to do expert mode or hard mode, and it was like, okay, I still want to do this boss because I've never done it before, but it's like, I feel like with me and Lou actually having a decent amount of experience here, and I guess a lot of other people, I mean, Kyogre made it to freaking mecha bosses in an expert season, and Nathan's
I
good
did.
at Terraria as well.
It
And
wasn't an
like-
expert season.
It was an expert
Was it
season,
not
am I
meant-
wrong? I thought
No,
it was,
it
oh
was
wait, no, it was an
just-
expert, that's
No,
right.
it's a normal mode.
I
But
still
like-
made it to the mech
like-
bosses though. Don't take that away from me.
Yeah, it's like I saw a lot of potential. Like this group definitely can freaking do this, and like I like in the what other thing I've been in, if you could even, I'm not gonna discredit the work that's gone into it because obviously Sylvette did an amazing job editing it. But in my own season that I can hardly claim as my own because again Sylvette did everything, freaking did Moonlord, and it's like I survived miraculously. I feel like she entirely carried me, but I survived, and I think that says something about my Terraria skill. There's also
no,
one
that's fine.
scrap thing I was going to be in that I had done a few practice sessions. It was a scrap master mode season, and I mentioned it in this season as well. I'm not going to disclose what it was, just because of controversial reasons, but to practice for Master Mode, we did a few sessions doing Expert Mode for the hell of it, and I survived in those, like all the way to the Wall of Flesh, and then just this season happened, and Spear does not work through walls.
Someone even left a comment on the wiki, like, went from killing the Moon Lord to dying to a ghost.
Oh, I
Okay,
didn't
so I
see
got
that. Oh no.
I got a question for Kyogre. I don't know if you want this brought up, but you can get this cut.
I can cut
needed.
it. So
But-
I'm
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
it'll be fine.
So
Go ahead.
the Nova Quest cancelled Terraria season. How far did you get in that? So I believe you've gotten real close to Wall of Flesh. I mean, not Wall of Flesh, New Mode.
Correct. Yeah. No real reason to keep that secret. What it was, I don't even remember everyone who was in that. But I died at the lunatic cultist fight.
Ah, right.
So
yeah.
and that I was thinking about bringing that up, but I didn't want to just insert that in there. But yeah, I got to the lunatic cultist fight. All we had left was just the pillars and everything, and then the Moon Lord. So yeah, I've definitely gotten a lot more experience in Terraria between the Nova Terraria season and the Taka season that I got the mech bosses with. It's been a very, very long stretch between those two sessions, and yeah, thank you. So I've learned a lot more about Terraria since then. So I've definitely been more experienced and expert and stuff. But yeah, so I did good in that one at least. No one, you're gonna have to take my word for that though. at the moment, I'm not lying.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's fine to bring that up because, I remember Snazzy was like, "Oh, hey, since we're talking about it in the post show, my season's canceled." Or
Yeah,
post show to announce it. So
My season's cancelled too. Don't worry, guys.
No, I was looking forward to that.
it's
Also, as far as how we plan to start it, it was my idea to do the kits that we did. It was just also my idea to do those kits if we did hardcore.
I mean, hard mode?
Yes, hard mode. Thank you.
The decision, guys.
Look at you.
Let's just make this into a let's play, a casual playthrough.
Yeah. But the
Oh no, Cole
But
died.
the-
That's unfortunate. Welcome back, buddy. Come on down to the mining group. We're doing stuff down here. There's no.
Yeah.
What is death?
It's okay. Chicken will kill
Okay,
you.
I'm just gonna. Are we gonna comment about deaths later, or should I just bring this up now?
Your death?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Starting from the next hardcore, or whenever the hell that happens, I'm not helping anyone else at all. Like if they go off on their own or do something, or I see, I'm gonna play Good Samaritan and try and help them. No, that's not happening.
Cola,
Yeah, chicken.
that killed you a lot, didn't it? It's killed you not
killed me
just in
3
this
times.
season. Yeah.
I'm done.
Minecraft
I'm
2. Did that do you in Risk of Rain 2? I don't remember.
I mean, he
I
played
kept trying to set
engineer.
up healing circles in Risk of Rain 2. I know that.
Yeah, he played engineer, so that's kind of true.
Cola, speaking of, did you see how Chicken immediately just wanted to go back down to the ice caves after we rescued him?
Yeah.
Didn't you comment about
Dude,
TJ could talk about it too?
You gotta risk it for the biscuit.
You
man.
gotta risk it for the biscuit, dude.
TJ,
Good
you
quote.
could talk about yours, but I'm sure Cola might even want to step in on that one too. I'm not sure.
He fucking.
Okay,
he
so I
gave
guess
me.
talking about my death. Here's the thing. I knew about ghosts, and I even acknowledged, oh, shoot, that's gonna spawn a ghost. I normally don't think about this because I don't do hardcore that often, but it's ghosts, I know they're not that threatening. I can handle ghosts in typical fashion. And it was this time I didn't think about, maybe I should just make the environment a little bit safer first. And as a result, there's that. And then there's the comment, I think it was Will made about, why didn't he just go further to the left? I just didn't want to go into deeper water that I couldn't see and start drowning.
That's fair.
What's it? Weren't you in the ice biome at the time?
Yeah. And it was
So it would have
there was
slowed you
a
down
lot-
anyway.
my death was just very circumstantial, is just the best way I can put it. Because
Unfortunate.
I was unfortunate for sure, but circumstantial specifically is the word I would use because I feel like that's not a way I would die in most cases because I knew that it was just one ghost, it wouldn't be that bad to really work around, and it was also just I don't want there to just be a random mass grave here because I
Yeah.
also didn't fully understand how graves worked in this version yet because it was relatively new. Not to the point where I didn't know it at all, but I had misconceptions. I knew that graveyard biomes existed, and it was okay, I want to remove this so that it doesn't cause future problems. But I didn't think about communicating what I was doing at all. but it's sucky that happened. Like, he was trying to help, and I can't be too mad about it, but it was still very funny.
I think Cola relates to that because that's essentially a very similar thing. Like, Cola was safe from the pressure plate, and then Chicken slid right past Cola onto the pressure plate.
You guys remember the worst part about that is he commented about there being a trap there, and he handed me a pressure plate so I could see the trap, and while I was moving it in my inventory, I got hit by the trap that he activated, that he was trying to warn me about.
Oh, yeah.
And then he himself died because Nathan was like, "Hey, Chicken, there's a trap." Chicken steps on pressure plate.
He almost took Nathan there, right there. You were like 2 blocks.
2 blocks away. Yeah.
You just like you had the survivor's
instinct.
instinct. You just like you perfectly timed a jump away where like the fucking like you were like just outside of Manhattan Project Ground Zero.
It's almost like the stereotypical thing where like you're running away from the explosion, but the explosion knocks you off your feet. Even though that would kill you, you still survived that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Will Kyogre, do you want to talk about your unfortunate?
Okay, I can explain. It was a little the screen was a little dark, so it kind of just looked like I fucking fell and died. I tried to juke the eye, like, oh, I'll just fall down and then I'll grapple up, and then I forgot what the grapple button was.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was, or something like that.
Yeah,
I saw the hook come out.
I literally just forgot what the grapple button was until it was too late, and I also didn't realize how far the rail went, how it went like all the way into the fucking ice biome. Like, 'cause I remember building the rail, and it was like stop, and it's like stopped in the desert biome where like the rest stop was. I didn't realize it went all the way even further, so I thought I was like at the end of my rope.
I'm sorry. I went a bit further. I didn't think it was long enough.
Well, it's not your fault for it's my fault for assuming that it ended there, even though it clearly had like no signs of stop. I just thought that like I just thought that I'd have to like turn around soon because I didn't like go.
In my defense, I nearly died the same way in the same fight.
And Will was taken from fall damage once more.
Sadly.
Yeah. It's just funny because that's usually how I die in like 90% of video games.
I also do think this is a decent time for me to comment on the fact that the whole minecart thing, that was specifically my idea because naturally, as I said, I had that practice session to kind of know how you can fight through the early game. Mm-hmm. And as a result, I think that things would have gone a little differently if I was there to give general advice on a lot of things. Because, for one, nobody crafted the minecart upgrade, which is literally just you take regular iron ore and it just makes the cart so much faster at acceleration and just movement in general.
That probably would have been helpful for me.
Yeah, that would have been extremely helpful, and there would have been a lot less death. But that's just kind of a nuance of how my death in this season, happening as early as it did, affected the entire thing, I feel like. But the other thing I would have mentioned...
Like me with Minecraft 2?
Yeah. GB made that comparison to me before. The other thing I would have probably suggested if, like, during fights like that was that because of the fact that you have that upgrade minecart or just generally how the eye works, is to have an emphasis less on trying to juke the eye by doing what Will was trying to do, and more so just tank the hit to get to the other side of it and be able to move on. Because another thing you can do with minecarts is at the very ends, you can make them have bumpers so that you bounce off of them, maintaining all of your speed going the other direction.
We did that.
And
I think you did have the bumpers. I think they did have the bumpers. They did have the bumpers. Like, literally, they had the bumpers.
It has been a while.
Can I just explain something with the? Can I explain something with the bumpers? So a lot of people are running into the bumpers, holding forward still, and their controls immediately being inverted, so it sends them back. I would probably explain the Kyogre death too, because he just rounded to a stop. He died because of it.
Yeah, did I die at like an edge chip?
No, I don't think you died at.
I didn't. Yeah, I thought I was like in the middle of a rail.
You were in the middle. I think you passed by.
I think you let go.
You passed by somebody, and they were nearly dying. Maybe you went in to like see what was going on, but came to a slow, and the eye decided to start charging you right when you slowed down. You couldn't get enough speed to.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've obviously got something to say about that when/if it's my time.
I just want to finish by saying,
this
is all the kind of stuff I would have commented on if I was alive at that point in the game, and I think that would have changed the outcome of this hardcore pretty heavily. But there's no way I know for sure. But anyway, I'll let you have.
I probably still would have died to me not knowing what button it was, but at least Kyogre would have lived.
Yeah, that death was so unfortunate. Because I fought the eye. so many times. I don't know how many times I've done it in expert mode or whatever.
I fought the I too. I did great in the practice session, and I
yeah, I don't know, because I've never fought the eye like that with like a minecart, you know. So I wasn't definitely not really in tune with the whole like stopping and everything and like just wanting to keep going.
I usually fought it with like an arena and some. What are the boots that give you speed? Hermes boots, right?
Oh,
Yeah, Hermes boots and like just some platforms and stuff. That's what I'm used to.
I don't think we all had Hermes boots at that time.
We didn't.
No.
We didn't.
We decided
No,
on
that's
it.
why the minecart method has to be used, especially in expert mode, because the eye is much less forgiving. In the regular one, you can get away without having it, but with expert mode, as we can see from Fuser's season, if you just try to go at it without a plan, that's just not going to go well. And I wanted to avoid that as much as I possibly could, and so the minecart strat was just what I immediately pointed to.
Yeah.
So next time,
that was
you
crazy.
put 2 minecart tracks.
You're so right. You're so
That
right.
could work, honestly, though. That could honestly, like, genuinely work really well. Like, that's
Like
actually
jump from
a
one
pretty
to the other?
common arena, I think.
Yeah, like jump from one to the other.
It'd be sick.
As long as you remember what button is the minecart button.
Multi-track drifting.
Yeah. I don't think I have like too much to say on my death, really. It was just I went to the slow and then he decided to go in a perfect angle, down, up, down, just to completely murder me. And that it was just very unfortunate that he got those 3 in, because I was doing pretty fine health-wise and pretty fine just generally before that. But one little unlucky.
He used the classic Konami code.
Yeah, he did. That bastard.
That's not at all what the Konami code is, but I don't know.
No, it's okay. We can pretend.
You got the bad RNG cycle.
I remember too, like moments before that, like we were both at a slow and the eye was charging us, and we're like, no! We're like,
Yeah.
we were both fucking screaming because it was right behind us. That was fucking great.
I remember that. That was funny.
And then shortly after you died, I'm like, no, Mage Brothers are gone!
Yeah, me and you definitely had a lot this season, didn't we, GB?
Despite not being on the same team for, like, a lot of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't even realize that.
I mostly feel bad for Cola because you didn't really get to interact with the other team at all. Like, you went down, joined Chicken, and then fucking died.
Yeah.
Well, my thought process was it's a straight shot down practically. It'll be a straight shot back up, or I can go straight right to meet up with you guys.
And he kept
None of that.
You didn't account for the chicken factor.
No, I
It
should
never
have.
does.
I've spent so many seasons with him. I should have.
Yeah, you're like the dynamic duo. It's kind of surprising you didn't consider that.
I still kind of feel like somebody would have died again in the ice caves if I didn't bitch out, so everyone else had an excuse to.
All the bats.
Yeah.
Oh god, that part of the season, yeah.
I still just remember me going just like I'll be the first to bitch out so everyone else can bitch out and not feel bad about it.
I wanted to get like stuff done down there, and like that was the part of the season where I was finally like, okay, I know I just like in Terraria I let other people do things to me, but we're at the point but we're at the point now where I can actually maybe get some stuff done. So I don't want to be the first person to leave because I feel like early Terraria I'm never helpful, so I had to show myself there.
Well, you and Will, at least, you guys technically made it halfway through the season, so don't
Yeah,
feel too bad.
yeah. I'm proud of how I did.
Yeah.
I just had a missed input.
I think it's
kind
time.
of redemption for the previous. Go on.
I think it's time we talk about the bee in the room.
Oh,
What the fuck is that boss, bro?
Is the
Right.
weird thing?
Pain.
The weird thing
Her
about that
defense
boss
goes up
is
halfway
I
through.
have
I'm pretty
I have soloed that boss on master mode with worse gear. I don't know
really?
what happened. Yeah, that was before the flank staff became a thing, which I loved that thing. I really do.
The spoon.
So with the bee, like, was there any way you could have like switched to go to like the top area, or would it have despawned if you try to fight it in the above ground arena?
I think it's kind of like Plant Terra and immediately goes
It
into
becomes
a
enraged,
one-shot
yeah.
enraged. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
if it's
don't think
above
it's a
ground.
one-shot enrage, but it just rushes you non-stop.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, that's what you
thinking-
see on the map. It just goes boom right towards whoever's at the house.
Yeah, thinking about it, really, maybe you guys just had like a really bad arena for it. Just because, like, I feel like most of the time when you're fighting the bee, you have like some like times when the bee is like standing still and like you can shoot at it. But I think most of the time when that happened, it was like in the wall and you couldn't do anything. So
Yeah.
most of what you could do was just zooming back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll go in order.
Yeah, I think we should have widened it out a little bit.
I think the big problem, Lou, you got caught in the honey pit.
A few times, yeah.
And
does
that's,
the
I
honey
think, what
even
killed you,
do?
because as soon as you got out, it was
It will
already
regen.
charging.
Oh.
It regens,
grants
but
you
also
regen,
slows
yeah.
you down.
For me,
I
I didn't
will
even
say-
fucking die to the boss. I died to one of those little mini bees. I wasn't even paying attention to it. I thought I killed both of them.
You died to the babies.
Basically. Right as I
Also-
was recalling, I was near the end of the animation too. It's just like, oh no, I'm dead.
Yeah, you were like 0.2 seconds away from recalling, and then you just died. It was just so unfortunate. I was like, oh.
If you'd used a recall potion and not a magic mirror, you'd have lived that.
The big problem was, you might have noticed throughout my entire gameplay, I had the magic mirror or the recall potions in one specific spot, and I only moved it for that fight. And where did I immediately go
Bottom
to
right of your
check?
inventory.
At the bottom
Damn.
right, at the same spot. I put it on my hotbar so I could access it quicker. And I accessed my inventory looking in that spot. Where is my magic mirror? And that's why it took so long to activate it. So it's like,
Oh, that sucks.
so it's like
That
shit.
was it. That was a huge thing in my season as well with Sylvette.
It's funny too, because Nathan, I think you gave me a wormhole so we both were even on it. Because I think you had 2, I had 1, or no, you had 3, I had 1. So you gave me 1, so we were both at 2. I think that's how
Yes.
that went. And
I
you
only
could see
recalled the
me
ones.
move the mirror into the hotbar, and that's where, in that moment, he knew he fucked up.
See, the funny thing with recalls, I've had really terrible history of fighting Wall of Flesh and having the recalls on my hotbar, and I'd accidentally use it and then just die.
Oof.
So I keep it off my hotbar.
Do we want to talk about your struggle at the end, Nathan?
Alright, so bottom line is, I ran out of bullets, and I've been using my minigun pretty successfully through the whole fight. And the minute I ran out of bullets, I switched to the bow, and the bow isn't great.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know what would have happened if I'd have recalled after you died, whether it'd have either despawned or it had chased after me. But if it had chased after me, I'd have won that fight. No doubt. I just too stubborn to recall, just in case.
It was at like 250 health too.
It was
so
literally 200
Yeah.
health.
It was
I would have
so
killed it within. Also, if it wasn't like 5 a.m. in the morning, I probably would have been able to focus properly too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, we weren't 100% prepared. I'd say we were prepared for it. The little
we were
mistakes got us.
Yes. You
It
can't
seemed
afford
like it.
mistakes like that.
This is the first season where we haven't had like a death in like it was an early death, but it was like a lot later in than it usually is. I think the latest was like an hour, and that was in the first Terraria season. And that was Will, and now Cola with I think we made it an hour and a half, but was it an hour, 20 minutes, hour and a half? It was around there. Of course, I condensed that down a lot more into less episodes, but we went for quite a while without a death, which was kind of surprising. Though it didn't matter, because we went with no deaths for 4 episodes, and then 4 people died in the span of the next 4 episodes.
Yeah.
That is something I really liked about this season, is that even though I probably can't say as much for Cola, but even though I feel like I had an early death, I still felt like I had a noticeable presence throughout the time I was alive. That is not a luxury I get to see in many hardcores that have early deaths. I really feel like a lot of early deaths happen before you get to see much of the person that the death affected.
You wasn't a side character while you were
Yeah, like I felt like as I was watching, I was like, wow, I'm actually contributing a lot more to this conversation than I thought. And I don't think that would have happened if we stayed in one main group. And so I'm really grateful for the split off. And I think it also was really nice as well that it was also made better by the fact that I made that decision of just like the exact same thing that happened in my season. Okay, I want to get us the best early armor as possible, so I'm going out of my way to find the snow biome and get boreal wood armor for everyone. I was keeping a very keen eye on like what time of day it was, and as soon as I knew it was daytime, I was like, all right, I'm leaving the cave group, I'm gonna go join the surface group so I can go do that. And I'm glad I did, because otherwise I feel like I would have just not existed to the other group, and I feel like I had a small but meaningful impact on that area.
I agree.
I like the groups in general. I think everyone meshed well with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the chemistry was really
getting
good.
on Nathan's last nerve the entire time, and TJ and I just kind of memeing about doing stupid shit.
Rewatching the times you, Nathan, Chicken, and TJ
going
in the underground was so goddamn funny. And it always kept cutting back to like, it's like, yeah, we're leaving Chicken behind. It just kept cutting
We
back.
didn't leave him behind though.
To be fair, yeah, he kind of just walked off on his own, and we were like, well, we're not going after him.
Yeah, you're like, we'll just let him do his thing.
I really love the way you just kind of constantly alluded to the quote from me. We're just like, we're just really letting Chicken go off on his own here, huh? That's what we're doing.
And it's funny how that really did technically lead to 2 deaths, but it was not anybody we expected.
It also led to a very funny arc of the hardcore, though, because the whole, like, Chicken hold up with just surrounded by just 17 different fucking 2-shot enemies.
Yeah, it's a very memorable part.
And it just and it just like would occasionally cut back to them, and they're still just like jumping around everywhere.
I had to double take because I could when I saw someone died, I saw it was TJ. I'm like, wait, I was expecting Chicken. And it's like, no, TJ, no.
The only time he didn't die when he was separate with someone was when he was with me, because I'm the most
He
cautious
almost killed you
fucking
multiple
guy.
times, though.
He did, but I'm the most fucking cautious guy when it comes to playing in hardcore Terraria.
One thing I was concerned about was I was like, when we all left, I had the realization, I'm like, oh shit, we just kind of left Kyogre with all the people he does not know, but I was like, hey, I was kind of concerned. I'm like, hopefully that wasn't uncomfortable, but you seemed to mesh well with the crew, so I was like, okay, thank you.
I didn't even like realize that actually in the moment. I feel like I've done that a decent amount of times in hardcores actually, where I just kind of somehow end up with everyone that I don't know. Like usually if I get invited to a hardcore, I'm always like, who's there that I know, just to like make sure that I'm not just like around people that I specifically don't. But if I'm ever in a situation where I am just with a group of people, even if I haven't talked to them much, I can usually adapt pretty well. And I think that early team section, even though I hadn't really spoken to most of you before that, it worked pretty well.
Yeah, especially the spooky ghost stories.
Yeah, that was so good.
That was one of my favorite things to edit.
It was so funny. I remember just seeing some stupid Facebook post about them. Like, if I had a good mood for that, it would actually be a very funny, scary story to tell.
And it became one of the best bits of the season.
Isn't that just the silence from Doctor Who and just the record scratch just killed me?
I think my favorite part was just like when you start talking about it. These aren't normal vampires. It's like sucking your fluids. And I think it was Kyogre who's like, kinky. It's like, it is kinky, yes.
No, that was Cola. That was Cola, actually. He's like, that's sexy.
Kinky.
It is kinky, yes. And I didn't drop like the
so
serious
casual.
tone.
It was so casual. It's like, yeah, all right.
No, I think didn't he say kinky? And then I was like, no.
No, that was late. That was earlier. I remember that was a separate point because
I mean, it had to be.
I don't remember where it was at.
Maybe it was. I don't know.
It was before the dead man chest. I don't remember what was said, but it said kinky, and you're like, please don't say kinky. No, it was to Nathan.
Yeah,
Nathan, you
please
said
don't
something
get the
to
kinky
Nathan about
response to
like
that.
you own me or something, and then she said kinky.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I was like, please don't say kinky in response to that.
And then she just said, I say kinky to a lot of things.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah.
What was with the fucking dead man chests this season? I think we found another that we cut, but we found like 3 this season. They really wanted us to
I
explode.
think I'm pretty sure they increased the spawn rate of those things.
That actually brings me to another thing, because Nathan was talking about how he plays super cautiously in Terraria hardcores. I don't feel like I do that as much. I feel like I kind of am a bit more brash and just kind of will just do stuff in a sort of brave manner and just kind of hope that my Terraria fundamentals can carry me through. Most of the time they do, sometimes they don't. But like in my own season, I remember there is a fake out edit that Sylvette did where I stepped on a boulder trap and like she like made the sound effect echo and everything, did like a very brief like montage of like a lot of the stuff that I did, and then just like cuts back to where it was, and I just dodged it, just barely, and it was nuts. But like, you definitely can dodge traps, but like for the most part, they're pretty. It depends on how high it generates, because I know the height of boulder traps can vary. Explosive traps, there is no counterplay. You have just died. Get over it.
I still don't remember how in the first season Shoop activated one without dying, and I'm like, how in the fuck? I think it was the positioning, but he activated it and jumped around the same time, and he just barely missed, and he almost died at the first fucking...
Yeah, the thing is with online Terraria and explosive traps, is if you, like, you're at a specific angle, it doesn't work. For some stupid reason, the lag just cancels it out. You can just jump away from it and have no issues.
Oh,
no!
Best and worst moments, starting with Cola.
What the fuck do you want me to? I didn't live long enough to have any good moments other than my death. Where's
Death was a good moment.
Where's good moment? I thought you said bad moment.
Well, both technically, but I'm excluding death. We've done this before.
I know, but I don't have anything that'd be too terrible that'd be the worst moment. Other than that, I didn't live long enough to really have any.
That's an acceptable answer because you were the first death.
The issue was I didn't live long enough to have any decent, like, oh, this was a bad thing that I could have improved upon, yada yada yada. But I lived, and I could go back and recall that. I didn't have that. I guess I sat around a little too long in the house doing nothing when I could have been doing something. And maybe that's my worst moment.
You did the most exploring, though.
I was trying as hard as possible to find, like, a route to the dungeon, but that didn't work out for me.
What about your best moment, then? What was something that you enjoyed?
Did I technically save Chicken? Does that count? No, because he died later. In that moment, I guess.
He got out of that situation.
You had him.
Yeah, so I guess I'll count that.
He got out of the situation.
I
it just costed you and TJ.
I just didn't have enough time to accomplish anything, I feel like, so that just feels like good and bad. It's like, it was fun starting, I guess. It's always a good time starting the season.
Okay, TJ. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so...
No,
let Cole finish first. Unless that was...
I was about to say something stupid. You're fine. Let TJ go.
Okay.
I didn't even think about this question, and I'm glad that Cola took some time answering it, because I had to think about this for a bit. There's a couple things I can point to as my worst moment. Obviously, just the act of mining the grave, but I don't know if we want to count that, because that's still technically part of my death. I think that this season I was a bit more selfish than I would be in other seasons, because I remember I just found the first heart crystal we found, and rather than even pretending to roll for it, I was like, nope, I'm taking this for myself. Fuck you all.
I did want to add to this, it's a little unrelated, but when we both found those heart crystals, and I'm like, TJ, thinking what I'm thinking? And you're like, what? And I'm just sitting there looking at both the heart crystals, waiting for you to get the fact that I was like, let's take them. It's a joke, but you gave it to Nathan, I'm like, God damn it.
I think that's where that side of me showed a little bit, but it was like, I'm too nice of a person for my own good, maybe. Maybe that's not necessarily a bad moment. In terms of my personal favorite moment from me, it's definitely tough. I'm glad I got at least one Simple Gear reference in there. I'm really happy that just the joke of me going to the explosive trap and just doing the app sap, just, okay, I'm about to start hacking. Not only did it get, like, acknowledged well, it's literally the last thing in the intro, which was far from what I would have suspected. But I'm very grateful that it got that attention because I love that quote so much. The one other thing I would probably point to is when I accidentally said the word grope instead of rope, and it was like, well, looks like we're gonna have to cancel TJ. And it was like, no, not again. One of those three, I think probably my favorite moment. Okay, actually, scratch all three of those. I think my favorite moment was still the freaking trailer.
You know, that's
because that was just the amount of cinematic just ideas that went into that. Just like all of this just happening at once, the dramatic build-up with Necrodancer, then just that execution. I think that was one of the most TJ personality things that you could have. And the only thing you could have changed about it was to add Eurobeat, and then you would have the perfect TJ joke. Oh, I didn't make any Eurobeat jokes this season. Crap.
I
no.
took care of it for you.
Hey,
Don't worry.
you just did.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
It's
guess
still
yeah,
part of
yeah.
the season.
That is true.
I guess that's fair.
Will, best and worst moments.
So I think my favorite moment was the chicken rescue mission. For like the first part of like the hardcore, I was kind of just faffing around, not really doing much because I didn't really know what to do because I still haven't played Terraria that much. So doing the chicken rescue mission was great because I felt like I was like accomplishing something. My worst moment was not fucking realizing that my mic was going to from my webcam, not from my actual headset mic. And that's why I just sounded like shit in every footage that wasn't mine.
I did want to bring up too, because you brought up the rescue mission. I liked the dynamic you and TJ had, where TJ was like your mentor of sorts throughout the journey. That
Like, Grav was kind of there too, but kind of felt like she was doing her own thing. I think she was lagging behind us a bit, if I remember correctly.
I honestly don't remember like half of the season. I
You went
remember
to
the
mine
boss
some
fights and that's
emeralds, I
about
think,
it.
And then
But it
you
was
started
like-
following after.
Something like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
I remember it was Will and I who were specifically together, and it was just like on our way down to Chicken, there was like the occasional just, like, group of enemies. Will was being a lot more cautious. I'm like, it's okay, this isn't too bad. Like, we can handle this.
Yeah, those moments were great. I loved that.
Like, it was
Which made
surprising.
your death
Like,
even
it was
sadder.
it was a really short moment, but I feel like it actually felt like I was doing moderately well there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
mentioning my own season, but like I don't have much else to compare it to. But, like Suzo in my season, who didn't have much experience with Terraria either, and I was trying to help her adjust to it, and then she died second to just like a yellow slime, the one moment where she was underground and I was at the surface.
I do
yeah.
love that, how I was like, is this gonna kill me? You're like, no, it's not gonna kill you.
Kyogre.
I had no worst moment because I am the funniest guy. I am the best at Terraria.
Oh my god.
I
Alright,
always think,
Pretentious prick.
yeah. I always think that in basically any Terraria season, and I think that this just comes from my experience with Terraria. My first experience with Terraria ever was a 4-man expert playthrough that we went through the whole thing, and I had never played the game before, and throughout that entire thing, people were just kind of like telling me what to do and then just gave me stuff, and I was like, okay, and I was kind of along for the ride, and I'd never really played a game of Terraria just like by myself, so my learning process of the entire game was very, very slowly, people just giving me things, and like if I ask a question, I'm like, okay, I guess I get it, but like you need to like kind of work with the system. And so because of that, I don't ever really know what to do early game. People always just give me stuff to do, or I just don't know what to do. Early game Terraria, every time, I always feel like I'm just doing nothing, both because of that I don't know what to do, and also because I'm such a cautious person. I don't want to go down to the caves until I have a little bit more armor. And those things kind of work together to make me feel like I never do anything in the beginning. That first section of the hardcore, where it was just, me and a couple others, and it was definitely funny. I wouldn't call that like the worst part of it at all, but I would say that if we're talking about a worst part, it was just me kind of staying in the house, not doing too much other than building that one rope bridge, because that was like the one thing that I did.
The zipline was great.
Why?
The zipline was very cool.
Why?
That was me in the first season, and then when Journey's End came out, for some reason I got it in me to play through the entire game.
Yeah, I needed
by
to do that.
myself until I beat it, and then I did master mode. I was doing it to the point where Atlic knew less about the game than I did.
Yeah.
I will say I did like the zipline thing, especially
No, the
like in
zipline's
hindsight,
great.
because I remember we came back after Cola died, and it was just like, what happened? Oh, well, Chicken died. What happened with you guys? We built a zipline. Like, oh, well, I'm glad you guys are having fun.
That was my best moment from the hardcore, making the zipline. It may have been during my worst performance, but through my bad not knowing what to do, I became my most creative and I made the zipline. That was my best contribution.
It's gotta be the most unique design for a house we've had.
Yeah.
I did Tower
Yeah,
in the first season. Will went in the house, you built up the zip lines.
Yeah, that was cool.
I like how I built those things based on making sure we survived through a blood moon, and then we just never had a blood moon.
Oh
I
yeah.
think we
did.
had it like once or twice.
Or a goblin army.
But
Probably better for it.
An alternative best moment of mine was one of the Dead Man's Chest things. I thought of this earlier during the... We're going through, and someone mentioned something about there's a sweater in there. Because before that, I'm standing behind, like, no, I don't want anything to do with that. Someone mentioned sweater, I'm like, sweater, and I said nothing but sweater until we got to that chest, and I was digging towards it. That was enough to make me complete Be brave. I wanted that sweater, and I got it.
It's a nice sweater.
Let's all just sit here completely quietly and wait for chicken.
Let's not go
Yep.
that far.
No,
Chicken.
really? Wow, I can't believe it.
That's a pretty controversial take right there.
Oh,
I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
God, no, chicken, I'm gonna have to censor that.
What was that about the British?
Oh my god.
Hey, don't insult the British.
Oh no, Nathan.
Fuck you guys, I'm going to bed now.
No! Chicken said it, not a.
Fuck you, chicken. Dickhead.
Okay.
I'm marrying a British. It's okay.
Hey, let's go.
Best moment is when the game updated and while we were doing the hardcore, and I got the coat. My worst moment is, I'm gonna apologize for this again. Every second that I just let the whip go for minutes at a time, nonstop. Yeah,
I thought it was funny.
yeah, it's hilarious.
I don't think
but
it-
I
I don't think
apologize
it's-
for anybody that had to listen to it.
I don't think it's as bad as chicken when he has the ice blade. Mew, mew, mew.
Mew, mew, mew.
But a GB, go ahead. with
My
your back.
worst moment isn't actually in the season. It's the fucking fact that, like, the first 2 recordings, my footage was so fucking choppy. It's like watching a slideshow. I don't know why. 1.4. I went and recorded Calamity for like 8 hours, and then I recorded just like an hour of 1.4. The Calamity footage was completely fucking fine. 1.4 was fucked to shit. That's gotta be the worst thing for me, and I could bring up like a worse moment than that maybe, but that will always be the one thing that pissed me off about my stuff in the season. It's just that happening. That's why in my like little intro card thing I put fuck this footage in particular. Best moment, oh god. Just the time spent with everybody. That's probably a fucking super cliche thing to say, but
No, it's okay.
I
The
think,
real hardcore was the friends we made.
Yeah!
I think the only
I can't finish
person
the sentence.
I think the only person I really didn't get to talk to in the entire season was Cola, but I feel like I got to hang out with everybody evenly. and
Man,
that
we
felt
don't
nice.
talk enough. We need to hang out more.
Well, don't die first.
Yeah!
I guess that's true. No, I just mean in general, not just the
Yeah.
season, man. We just need to hang out more.
We need to stream. Streaming.
Yeah, streaming.
To
That's pretty
be able
useful
to
thing to
run
do.
Minecraft efficiently, Cola.
Twitch.tv/ whatever the fuck, Goldenbrawler.
I now have Minecraft on my computer. Just thought I'd let that.
Yo, let's go.
I've been considering making a server.
You know, the thing I
Minecraft
heard
season
most
3.
about this season was I was obsessed with Terraria around the time of the first season, and by the time the second season came around, I retained none of that knowledge.
I know my knowledge definitely took a hit because there were things I could have swore I remembered from like the first season and other stuff, and people are like, "That's never been a thing," and I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean? I remember doing this."
Around the time of the first season, I was practicing, or no, I think it was after the first season when we were still actively playing like all the time, just the 3 of us. We were fighting the tree often and did like the pumpkin boss and all that stuff, and we did all right. I mean, we never won, but we did pretty good. I couldn't remember jack shit when we started season 2, and like I kind of went in. I didn't go in totally blind. Decrease 80% down to like 15% of knowledge, and that's where I was going in.
Yeah, that's basically the opposite of what happened with me.
Because you started playing a lot right before we.
I think I went from like 50 hours of gameplay to like near 300 hours of gameplay before the
I think it's more
hardcore
than I
started.
have. I think it's more than I have. That's nuts.
Nathan, best and worst moments.
That's actually really difficult, and I've had the longest time to think to. Just the hellacious amount of memes that we did during the whole time. Like, the ridiculous references and shit. I'd never expect to come in and just make a fucking random Wilbur Sup reference just because the fucking merchant's bastard name. Like,
And
How
then,
we
and
both
then you
did
wouldn't
that
shut up about
exact same joke.
Then you
we
wouldn't.
both kept and then proceeded to make J-Schlatt references for the rest of the day. Like,
Oh,
no,
that's good.
never again. That's the worst and best moment in itself. Yeah.
This isn't really as much like something in particular you did, but more so just the energy you contributed. But one of my favorite things from you, Nathan, was just like when you were with Chicken, and like Chicken was just talking about like, what do you mean? I never play riskily or something like that. And like,
I never died in
it's like,
Minecraft.
yeah, sure. And the edit that GB made of like the doubt image
Oh.
Like your portrait fits
Chickncup.
that energy.
Oh, that was to me. I
so
remember.
well.
I jumped down like a cavern that like we couldn't see the bottom of, and
Oh,
Nathan
no,
had
it
a
was
little
you,
panic
you're
attack
right.
over it. And I'm like, I've got a double jump. I'll be fine. And
I'm
then
not that stupid. Yeah.
What episode
that
of
sort
Pull
of-
Up I could actually put
Just
up?
that sort of mild disappointment in everyone in energy you gave throughout the season. Not in a way that felt hostile, but just in a way that just felt like, are you serious?
It was made perfect. It was perfect.
I think my whole character for the season was grumpy old man that just fucking hates everything. Like
It's just you.
the whole time.
But it was done in a way that was like particularly entertaining.
Yeah.
For sure. 'Cause it wasn't like you didn't want to be here, but it was just like, oh my god, I have to deal with these people.
I'm too old for this shit.
Also kind of reminds me of what GB was talking to me about. That I don't know if this is still how you're feeling, but from what I remember when we first kind of recruited you for the season, you mentioned this is probably going to be your last season that you ever do. So
I did say that, yes.
that energy really does
Yeah.
fit that sort of retire, like I'm going to retirement kind of shit.
More like I'm 2 weeks away from retirement and I gotta do one more thing and,
And then
then
the
you
Queen
die.
Bee killed you right at the.
No.
Fuck that shit. I wanted to go out on something big, and this is not a way to go. Like, I ain't dead yet, guys. I'm still here. I'm fucking still available. Fucking hardcore shit. But yeah, just dying as dramatically as I did to Queen Bee is something it's not acceptable. It shouldn't die to Queen Bee. This game's too easy to die.
I mean, it was on expert.
All right,
Pretty
so
sure.
Cola, you've had some pretty bad luck in the last few seasons. What is your plan to turn that around in the future?
I've mentioned this before, but I'm gonna try and not be as helpful.
Wow.
I'm sure I can be helpful in other ways rather than trying to save someone's life. So I will. Next time someone's in danger, I'll be like, okay, someone else take care of that this time. I'm not running in.
You'll just go into a PTSD flashback and scream.
That's what I do best.
What do you think of this season compared to the others?
You got a pretty solid thing going now, where you're getting better as time goes on. So I'm liking that. There's always ways to improve.
Yeah.
The editing's a lot better than it was. I feel like I'm giving cookie cutter answers, but that's pretty much my thoughts on it.
No, that makes sense. For the short time, did you enjoy your class?
Yeah, Summoner's pretty fun. I like the little baby slime.
Well, you don't really do social media, so we can probably...
Yeah, I'm still a mystery.
TJ, despite dying early, do you feel you made a significant impact with this season?
Absolutely. I've been in recording things that got scrapped. That I have been alive as like one of the last couple of people, and I felt like I contributed more this season than I have in some of those. Genuinely, I felt like I brought a lot of energy to this season. I think a lot of that has to do with the cast that you specifically got with guests, because naturally, the original plan was like, okay, we're gonna get Kyogre. I forgot who the original guest we were planning around was. But it was like
somebody
but
else.
basically the idea was like, okay, let's get a couple people from Battle Basement, one that I know and one that I don't know that well. So I kind of had that already sort of comfort with Nathan and Kyogre, where it's like, I know these people, but I don't really like know them that well.
Right.
And Will, I got to interact with him during a couple practice sessions, but also I think we were just mutuals on Twitter, so I already see a bit of the shenanigans he gets up to, and
You've seen his joke tweets.
he probably deals with my Orin posting.
Hell yeah.
I called you out on that.
Gober.
It's funny because that's about the character I like to play the most in the Toho tabletop game.
Yo, nice. Good taste.
How is this season compared to others you've been involved with? I'll count stuff that was canceled because that's just your other season, so...
Yeah. Of any season that I've been a part of that actually got past editing phases, I'm happy this was the one that actually became a season, because I feel like I actually had a purpose in this season, whereas other ones are just kind of, oh, I'm just kind of another interloper. I don't really do much. In this season, I feel like I actually added something, and that felt nice.
Did you enjoy your class?
I would have liked it better if I knew that spears didn't go through walls, like I'm pretty sure they used to. But like, I still do like doing melee, and I remember I was a person who was like, okay, I'll just kind of do whatever's left over. I knew right out of the gate, okay, so that means I'm not gonna do mage, and I'm not gonna do summoner, so I'm doing either range or I'm doing melee, which either one of those I'm fine with.
And last thing, real quick, promo your stuff.
Main place I'm active is on my Twitter. I just kind of post memes and stuff. I retweet a lot of funny Toho cat. Other than that, I just kind of exist as an internet person. I also post some stuff on my YouTube channel. I'm looking to possibly do some more commentary type videos and also just funny meme edits whenever I feel like doing that. I have a Twitch, haven't used it in a while. I have Nuzlocke I was in the middle of doing, and I'm going to get back to that eventually. By the time this podcast is out, I've probably released my... Actually, I don't know when this podcast is being released, but I have a freaking Dunkachino edit, and it's the most high-quality video I'm working on, and I want to get it done soon. But yeah, that's basically where you can find me. TJ Henry OC on YouTube, TJ99er on Twitter and Twitch.
All right.
You are free.
Bye,
Bye, TJ.
Bye, TJ.
We'll miss you.
Gonna go do my shift now. Have fun with the rest of the podcast. See you guys.
Yep, see ya.
Will!
Me.
While you still died from fall damage, do you feel you performed better compared to Terraria Season 1?
Comparatively, I did a lot better because I didn't fucking die immediately, and I feel like I got a lot more in my comfort zone with the group, and I was able to bounce off the group a lot more. I wasn't only there for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It wasn't my redemption gameplay-wise, but it was my redemption content-wise.
Overall, what do you think of this season compared to the last one, which was a while ago, so...
I thought it was fine. I definitely hope to stick it out longer if I return for, like, other seasons. And hopefully, maybe, like, I'll learn to be better at the games I play before just doing, like, I'll just do a practice session. That's fine, and then I die. And then you blow up.
Did you enjoy your class?
Oh, yeah, I love playing range builds. I love how I got to use the fucking musket. That was fun.
Yeah.
So, I'm lucky enough that my handles are just BugCatcherWill on everything, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. I stream, like, every fucking fourth crescent moon on a Wednesday. So if you see me post a Twitch link on Twitter, then you better watch it, because that'll be, like, the only time I stream that month. I always say I'm going to make YouTube content, and then I never do, because I still need to acquire video editing software on my computer.
Kyogre, mage friend, hi!
Hey!
It's been a while since you've been in a Terraria hardcore. How's it feel to play it like this again?
That's an interesting question, because like I mentioned before, pretty much all of my my Terraria experiences are the people carrying me through that, and most of that has just been casual stuff where death hasn't been a thing, so... This is realistically, what, my second or third hardcore in Terraria? It's fun. Like I mentioned, the difference between Taka's and this one is I have a lot more experience now. So coming into it, knowing a lot more about the game, and like knowing a lot more about what to look for in terms of what might kill me, I definitely think that playing in hardcore is a lot more feasible for me now, and it's a lot more fun because I have a lot more to look out for. And although I will never be a not cautious person in hardcores, I can be a little bit less cautious to the point where I can actually get a couple things done. So it was cool doing another Terraria hardcore.
How is this season compared to others you've been in? And this isn't just like Terraria seasons, this is just in general.
I think that there was a lot of banter in this one. I think I mentioned like specifically early on. I'd seen that this group of people had done just a lot of memeing, but there was like something that someone mentioned about the Muppets or whatever, and I was like, I can tell that this is absolutely the meme group that I thought it was, and that was fun. It was a very different approach than most other hardcores, because most of the time I definitely know a lot more of the cast itself, so getting to know more people, getting to just completely joke around as opposed to more of the time where it's like there's jokes and then it's more serious stuff. But I feel like with this group we have a lot more just overall it's jokey and fun, and that's a nice tone to it.
Yeah.
I will meme to the grave.
Did you enjoy your class?
I have never played anything in Terraria other than Mage. And it's not because it's the only thing I know, it's because it's fun and I don't want to do anything else. So yes.
Your plugs.
I used to stream, I don't really anymore, but if you want to follow my Twitch that won't have any more content anymore, that's Awokenkyoger. I'm used to that one being the first one. I have the YouTube, which has all of the VODs of my streams. I think that's endless hours of good time content. That's also just Awokenkyoger. The thing that I'm active the most on is actually Discord. You can't have that. The thing that I'm active mostly other than that is Twitter. And I tweet like once every week or something like that. I don't know. But that's also Awokenkyoger. My Twitter is very, very varying as to what I'll post. But, I won't flood your timeline. I only post stuff if it's worth posting, I guess, is the excuse that I have.
Yeah, who would flood people's timeline with art retweets? Not
Yeah,
me.
right.
Yeah, who would do that?
Grav, you've had more luck in the last couple of seasons compared to the ones prior. How do
Listen,
you feel
Risk of
about
Rain
that?
2. I feel like that has nothing to do with my ability to play a game. It is my ability to outrun the people behind me. Except Risk of Rain 2, everybody knows I'm weirdly good at it.
Yeah, not many people would have survived, like, a full-on, like, everything was bosses.
Everything was bosses. It was great. I felt in my element. It's just I wish I was doing more damage.
Either way, what do you think of this season compared to the others?
I felt like I was able to direct at least what maybe not as much as what other people were doing, which is what would have happened in the second season of Minecraft or somewhat in the first Minecraft season. I wasn't able to direct people as much, but I definitely knew what the next step was. And I definitely owe that to how much I was able to do beforehand,
Okay.
before the season started.
Did you enjoy your class?
I played range last time, and Summoner wasn't really a blown out class like Journey's End made it. And I definitely liked that midway through the season, we got that middle ground of in the hard mode with the Flink staff and the Flink's coat. I did like that part. I probably would have had more rough of a time without that. Which, me wanting to play Summoner is probably the reason I fought for having kits when we started out playing, because I like the idea of everyone having a class. We started out and someone was going to pick, you wouldn't be able to be Summoner until we beat the Queen Bee. They made Summoner a possible thing. I think they needed to make it a little bit earlier or a little bit easier to get the Finch staff in that. But other than that, I like the Summoner class. It's what I play majority of the time now.
And you don't really have any promos.
Yeah, I don't have any promos yet. Flashback to the fact that I teased something in that season and I'm still not done with it.
I think my big thing would be, what could I have done differently setting this season up? Because that was kind of the big problem with this season, was just getting everything ready and deciding on what the fuck we were doing. I think the big thing, if we ever do Terraria again, like, mods need to happen already. For the love of God, for 1.4. As soon as that happens, that would be really great to merge the two. Like, Journey's End with mods seems like that would be a lot of fun, but we couldn't do that, so... I also would have diversified our loadouts a bit more, since everybody had the same weapon, so, like, Rangers had blowpipes, mages had the stabs. I think the only difference was... Cola wanted the slime instead of the bird, so we just said, screw it,
Yeah.
here you go.
They do the same damage output, and they're both early game weapons, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
you could easily get them immediately if you found them.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to get that percentage chance.
That's kind of what I would probably do differently, is maybe give everyone more unique stuff, so they're like same class, but they do stuff a little differently, even if it's the damage is the same, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I think this season, because I've made it no secret that when it comes to hardcore stuff, I much prefer Minecraft or Risk of Rain. This is everything I would want a Terraria season to be, other than the fact we lost. That was kind of that was kind of meh, but I think it made for good drama and pacing. So I think this is everything I wanted for a Terraria season. I'll say that much. This is the successor of the first Terraria season by a long shot. Like, you could watch this and never have to go back and watch that. Hell, everyone that was in that season has now been in another season. So there's... Will, you're here. Toad was in
Yeah.
Minecraft 2. Shoop was in the original Minecraft, first of all. And Risk of Rain 2 as well. So...
I just realized something. It's going to be really hard to describe if we ever go back to Risk of Rain 2. That we're going to have to say Risk of Rain 2 Season 2. We can't just say Risk of Rain 2.
Risk of Rain 2, 2.
2.
Risk of Rain 2
2.1.
squared.
Yeah.
Then that'd just be Risk of Rain 4. Make it Risk of Rain 4.
Oh god.
Yeah, no, you have Risk of Rain 2, then you have Risk of Rain 2 2, and then whatever the third one is for funny 2 joke, and then Risk of Rain 2 squared.
As for the classes, I mostly went mage this time, which is kind of new. My like hard mode character, I went with melee. which is what I'm most used to. And I have messed with Summoner a lot. I did that with you two on one playthrough we did.
Our first playthrough for me playing the game.
And we didn't get to Moonlord, but I got to learn Summoner from that. And that was before
Yeah.
the buff, I would say.
Yeah, that was when it was less of a class and more of like a side project you could spec into.
You could argue throwing class was more just as much a class, at least in pre-hard mode. Ranger and Mage I never really messed with too much, so that's kind of why I wanted to play one of them. So, and my aim was absolute shit for a good chunk of the season, but other than that, it was fun. I was really waiting for something like the Water Bolt, but we never even made it to the dungeon.
Nope.
Oh my gosh.
Granted, they don't spawn those at the top
Because,
of the board.
yeah, Skeletron is insane on that. In my playthrough of Master Mode, it was the last boss I fought before Wall of Flesh. I fought and killed every other boss, I think at that point multiple times, and I could not beat the Skeletron.
Yeah, I heard he's really hard. Like, from what Shoop told me, he said that his strat was to get molten armor and then go back to
Yeah,
fight Skeletron.
It is legitimately easier to just go through hell and get all the materials for a wall fight and then go back and fight Skeletron.
As for my socials, they're all just Goldenbrawler. Same as before.
It's nearly 6 a.m. now. I need to get some sleep. I'm dying.
Okay, so now we gotta
Yeah,
come
yeah.
to Nathan's? Okay.
Yeah, you do Nathan's real quick.
Okay, you were the last one chosen for this season, and you ended up being the last man standing. Are you satisfied with that?
No, I'm not satisfied. I didn't win.
You were still the last one alive, though.
I mean, for about 30 seconds. Yeah, I guess. But, you know, it doesn't really count if you're just dying on the same boss as everyone else. It's just like PvG Season 1 in Terraria. It's just like, oh, Jeff died. Oh, I'm dead too. Oh, that's it. It's over. It's not really fulfilling. I'm not gonna lie. I'd like to get some redemption on that. Like, geez, it wasn't good.
Okay. How was this season compared to the others you've been in?
Definitely different. A lot more banter. A lot more memes going around this time. Last time I was in other seasons of like more focus on shit. This time it was more focus. And I
fucking
guess
around.
it was more fun fucking around, basically. Just basically what we do in the general time.
And did you enjoy your class? I'm gonna guess Mini Shark is an instant yes.
I mean, I'm always Ranger class, so I'm always happy with that class. It's fine. Maybe next time I go for something different because I don't want to do the same thing over and over.
Your promo stuff?
Promo stuff. I think it's at WM_DarkEdge on Twitter. JustNathan on YouTube. Not that I post anything, to be fair, at the moment. Far too much busy with real life and being a 30-year-old adult that still lives with his mum.
Understandable.
Yeah.
And if that's it, you are good.
I'm free. I'll see y'all later, guys.
Bye, Nathan!
Bye, Nathan.
Good job! We'll miss you.
What a prick. No, okay.
Number 6.
I was waiting for someone to do that with TJ.
It's just like, yeah, bye, Leo. Oh, I fucking hate that guy.
No, I love
Wait.
Nathan. I love
Okay.
Nathan's great.
Chicken said he had to go soon too, so you may as well get that over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chicken, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I feel that.
Yeah, totally, completely. That makes sense.
Alright, promote your shit, you piece of shit.
Fucking based.
Oh, you're leaving? Fine, be that way. Oh, God, man.
Wait, you're not coming back next season?
What? No!
Oh, that was just a joke. Okay.
Chicken did what?
I'm sure they won't find that on the beach.
Okay, let's
Discord leave sound.
Yeah, okay.
Watch out, pressure plate!
Welcome, Chicken, to the thing.
Hello, hello. Thank you for my own host show podcast interview. I didn't want to share the mic with anybody else.
Yeah, they all talked shit about you.
Of course, because I'm the one that killed them. Of course, because I'm the one that's like, ooh, let's go over here. This will be a good idea. And then my skill is so immaculate that they all died except for me. And then I died from something stupid.
I guess it's somewhere to start. So, do you have any defense for Cola and TJ's deaths?
Oh yeah, I killed them. I'm a murderer.
That's not really what I meant.
Oh. All right. Well, okay. To be fair, I did my best to like save them and to like communicate like the predicament that I am in, but I don't know. I just needed some help, and I needed everybody to be there. And only sending in a small team isn't a good idea, you know?
Well, with Cola's situation, he went down to help you out. I remember how it worked too, because I had to edit it, so I saw every second of it. So,
Correct.
You gave Cola the pressure plate, and he was trying to rearrange his inventory to see where the one pressure plate that activated the dart trap. So
Correct.
he's like sitting still trying to get that figured out, and he just accidentally, I don't know if you remember their ice physics or what happened, but you kind of just slid onto that pressure plate right as he was doing that.
No, that wasn't me.
Oh my god!
I didn't put in any. I didn't push any pressure plates.
And with TJ...
Okay. TJ's wasn't my fault. He went down there, and he tried to fight. I'm just like, alright, I'm a dip now. You should dip too. And then he died.
What happened with him was, when you two were fighting the ghost, you ended up pushing the ghost into him, and he couldn't back up into the water because of the ice cave, because it would slow him down and he'd die anyways. So...
Well, like, TJ should have been more careful. Okay, Cola's death, alright. That's on me, alright? TJ's not really, because we were trying to fight the ghost together, alright? Like, what? Should I have tanked the hit so I wouldn't push the ghost and I would have died probably? Or what?
Never know. This is also a situation, it kind of reminds me of the time we were in the ice caves, and you kept thinking I was trying to leave you behind, but I was trying to... You might remember this, because I jumped away and grappled up above, and you were like, why are you leaving me?
Nah, homie, you were trying to fucking leave me to die.
I wanted to get enough momentum to get under the ice to help you out, but I also only had 3 hours of sleep. If you were to watch the episodes of that, like, session back, I think you'd be able to tell I was tired out of my fucking mind. I thought it was a good idea. You know I wouldn't leave you, bro.
Nah, homie, you would leave my ass. What do you mean?
Damn, you really think of me like that, bro?
Yes. I know for sure you'd leave my ass, because everybody else would too.
I guess there's other stuff we could talk about. When we were doing the setup for this, do you remember the poll we did?
Yeah.
Because we were going to do mods, and I think you would agree that that would have really made the season even better.
That would, because, I don't know, this season it was like kind of slow. Even though everybody died, like, I felt like we were kind of just like idle for a while, which I personally didn't like.
Maybe, but I think our commentary was fucking perfection this time around.
It was a profession. I was literally just, oh hey, I'm bored. I'm gonna go downstairs. And I went downstairs and killed everybody. This happens every single time in hardcore. I'm just like, I'm gonna go out and do some bullshit. And then I almost die, and then somebody else dies in my place. And then after the person that comes with me dies, I then die next, usually.
I'm reminded of the first Minecraft season when you say that, because with, like, Cola's situation, when you two were like...
Hey, let's go out.
Yeah, you were like, let's go out, and then y'all started getting attacked by a witch and shit, and then all of a sudden you're both near death. You were able to box yourself in, Cola didn't make it, and then you come back only to die the next episode.
Exactly. What I'm saying is, I feel like mods are really, really helpful. Like, in Risk of Rain 2, that, like, the mods were really fun. We were always doing something. Whereas for Terraria, yeah, we had a lot of really cool times. Everybody was, like, super squishy. Everybody could literally die to anything, but other than that, we kind of just, oh yeah, hey, we're gonna be sitting and doing some housework and shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
But I really like this season, you know? I know it's been a while. It's been, like, what, a year since we've, like, filmed it because of the Rona?
We recorded in around August, September-ish, but when we started planning it, it was, yeah, a year ago.
Yeah, exactly. And that's super weird because I went through a lot of changes. You went through a lot of changes. Now I'm almost done with school. Literally, I am graduated by the time you put this podcast / interview out.
All the fucking Among Us memes should have really dated this.
Yeah, dude, like, this was before Sussy Baka was a thing, dude.
Oh god. But the whole thing with the poll was we were trying to decide between expert mode or hard mode. And that's how we ended up deciding on expert mode. And I think that was honestly the best choice, because if we did hard mode, we would have just done last Terraria season, but again, and then new stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, on hard mode, I feel like we could have had a lot of people still alive, even at the very end, at least maybe like 4 or 5 instead of like, 3 very last episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's always like, oh yeah, the new guys are usually going to die. It's only once in a blue moon that like a newer player actually lives through the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, that was basically Minecraft 2 when you think about it. Like, I know when we're the last 4 in Minecraft 2, you and I actually had a decent understanding of the mod by that point to like make shit, right? But Toad and Spicy knew jack shit, and yet somehow they both lived to the very end.
Well, I don't know. When you like start learning the game, you get to like grow, I guess. But yeah, anyways, like I had a lot of fun this season. Going forward and recording again, I'm gonna really like it because I'm gonna have a lot more free time, I think, while not being a student and not doing all my stuff about video games. Speaking of which, I actually couldn't go to the podcast because I was actually out. So that's why I said, hey, I can't. I'm at a party right now. And I don't think it'd be really cash money if you heard drunk people in the background,
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, my bad. I would have had fun talking with everybody. I think the last time we did record a podcast and stuff, Genshin Impact was very, very new, I remember.
Yeah, that was about Risk of Rain 2, and that was around summer, so...
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if we recorded that before this season or not, because...
I'm pretty sure we recorded that after this season.
I think the first session happened, and then we recorded the post-show, if I remember correctly, because there was jokes like Nathan made a comment about, come on guys, where's the post-show?
Yeah, so it's we're really behind all this shit.
Yeah. What did you think about the kits? The, little class loadouts? It was very
the class
minor.
Loadout, it was decent. You kind of just saw everybody just kind of running, whatever build they got their hands on. Because we had, 8 people? Everybody's just hey, yeah, give me the best equipment so I don't die. And then at the end of the day, it was kind of just oh yeah, this guy had 1 more mana crystal than me, or this guy had 1 more health crystal than me. So I felt like the class system didn't really impact it at all. And at the end of the day, it was a good thing, but I guess I wanted something a little bit more in-depth. For example, for Don't Starve Together, we have designated stuff and restrictions that we could do,
Right.
Speaking of Don't Starve, are we gonna do that again?
We might. We'll get to that a little bit later, but I did want to bring up, in relation to the kits, that was kind of one of the harder things to figure out, but that's kind of how Terraria is, especially with expert mode. You basically are stuck choosing a class and going with that. You could kind of multi-mix early on, but especially later, it gets more and more important that you stick with your class, which is probably why we decided to just let everyone pick what they wanted right off the bat, so we knew what everyone was going to build towards. But I could also see the problem with that, but I think that's kind of more just a Terraria thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, again, Terraria, it's not really my cup of tea, I guess. Because Shoop and all those, players, they love Terraria, but for me, I'm kind of more of in the Minecraft, in something a lot more fast-paced. That's why you see me, stream a lot of competitive games rather than co-op games,
Yeah.
Risk of Rain, I like that game, but it's don't catch me playing it by myself, you know?
Yeah. Here's an interesting one. Your thoughts on minecart strat. What are your thoughts on us going with that minecart strategy against the eye?
It was pretty straightforward. I was able to kind of do it, I guess. But at the end of the day, I just thought like, oh yeah, dude, I just like riding in the minecarts. I just felt like building the whole track took way too long. If there was like a way to do it really fast to get everybody on board to like work together to get all the materials, because that's another thing. A lot of the times we had just raw materials in everybody else's inventory, and we could have gotten a lot of things done a lot faster if we coordinated together as a team rather than like, oh, you're going to be on me, Chickens, and Shoop's team, I guess let's just say, and then everybody else is on a different team. Like you kind of need to like outline like, all right, this is what we're gonna be doing. This is what we need to be like. This is our goal, and this is what I need everybody to do.
I think the big problem was that we didn't really consider minecart strats until after Cola died. So that's when we started building it, and that's what took so long. I actually cut a lot of that out because I thought that would be kind of boring to watch. I kept a lot of the adventure stuff in, but a lot of building that track with just, like you said, it did take a bit too long. Yeah,
it takes way too long. The viewers don't really like it. We don't really like it either, just because we're kind of just sitting there and just talking about weird, random stuff. At that point, it just becomes a podcast with Terraria building in the background.
Here was one that was brought up. Why did you go back in the ice caves right after TJ and everybody went down to rescue you? What was your goal there?
Oh, I went down there to try to retrieve items, actually, that they would have left because, some of them died, if I do remember correctly.
Are you saying to get his stuff? Because I thought you all grabbed everything.
I think I missed some stuff because, again, I think my inventory was full, so I couldn't really get everything. So I'm pretty sure I banked. I tried going down there again just to retrieve his stuff and then pour out. But again, it's like near-death situations. It's not gonna happen twice, Come on.
I gotta say that was one fun part about that little setup, because we had one group going into the jungle. We had, I think, Kyogre and myself were kind of just figuring out what the fuck to do. And you and Will, I think, went down below. And, like, Will was, like... So you had your, like, duo buddy partner system thing going on with Will.
Yeah, like, my usual thing that I usually do every single hardcore. I usually grab a buddy, and I'm just like, okay, we're best friends till the end. And then they die, and I'm just like, oh, shit. All right, well, looks like I killed another one.
That also makes me think about the times you almost killed Nathan, like, multiple times.
How did I almost kill Nathan? How?
I kept a couple in the season. Like, there was one time you were, like, you dug under him or something, and you both fell into an area with some mobs. You almost died, too. I don't remember the situation from that, because that was a while ago. And the other one ties to your death. When you set off that explosive trap, Nathan was, like, a block away from that killing him, too. That was really close to killing both of you. I guess that one was less your fault. That's more explosive trap bullshit. But just watching that back, it's just kind of scary to think that we almost lost both of you like that.
Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
As long as somebody lives to tell the story and you don't have to go in and be all like, what the fuck happened to my friends? Why are they so dumb? How does this happen? Every single time.
So what did you think of, like, the bee fight? I don't know if you got to see that.
I saw it. It just looked really messy. Like, you guys really weren't able to use a plan.
Somebody talked about maybe we needed a wider arena because there were plenty of times where the bee was just, like, stuck in the wall and we couldn't hit her.
Yeah.
And each of our deaths was just, like, Grav got stuck in the honey. I accidentally... Like, I went to recall, but I moved my mirror onto my hotbar so I could use it faster rather than the one spot it always is. So by muscle memory, I'm, like, looking around the area trying to find it. And then I go use, and I'm like, oh, it put it up there, and I went to use it, and then died because I took too long trying to find it. And then Nathan was just fucked.
Yeah, like, honestly,
250 health left.
Honestly, that B is... I'm just gonna say here, you guys just need to play better, right? Like,
damn.
What can I say? The B fight's hard. You guys literally could have killed it. You guys got, you know, a plan set up, but just misplays. I feel like that's the thing. For Terraria, it looks very simple, but even like small mistakes and small execution errors could actually kill you.
Yeah.
Whereas for Minecraft, if you mess up, you have enough blocks to just like save yourself. Whereas in Terraria, oh, you got hit and you got knocked down. All right, you're dead. Goodbye. This is my life now.
Unless you have recalls.
Hey, well, like that's the execution error. You took too long to recall.
Yeah. This was also earlier in the season. We're kind of all over the place, but I don't think it fucking matters at this point. We were talking. I don't remember where it came up, but we were talking about when we split up. One group went to go help you, and the other group, we went to the corruption to try and get something from there to advance a little bit.
Right.
And I still remember there was a comment that was lingering in my head. I joked about it. Everyone kind of joked about it a little bit because when TJ died, I was like, I was really expecting that to be Chicken because I knew you were in a really shitty situation. But I never actually saw how bad it was until...
It was fucking bad, dude.
You were surrounded by like 17 monsters on all sides.
Dude, that was fucking bad. That's why I called for help. And you guys are just like, oh, it's fine. I was trying to describe, no, there is something below me, and there is a bunch of things above me, and then there's things to the side of me, and this is scary.
I know with my group, it wasn't that we didn't want to go help. It was just like we already had
You guys are too busy. You guys are too busy with something else, right?
Well, I went to build the grave, and then we went to the corruption, like I said, to go and try and get an altar, to try and get somebody a gun. We thought that would be a really good strat. That was basically our goal. While their goal was just save Chicken.
Save me, please.
Expert mode's no fucking joke. I'm sure you kind of tell that by this point.
Yeah, I could tell that. Even like the most basic shit, like bats, are very much hurty. All right. Like I saw so many things that I wanted to go do in the caves, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Because everything hurts so much. The only thing I had was like a sword. It was like, granted, it was a pretty okay sword, but it's just like, what? I just hit things with my sword and then they bounce away a little bit. I'm supposed to be the tank, but I can only take 2 hits.
To give an idea though, we never made it to Skeletron, but that fight in particular, Shoop described the setup for that one too. I feel like that, no matter where we were at, even if you lived and like the explosive trap never happened, I feel like even if we got that far, that fight might have still wiped us because it's just that bad.
Yes. Anything else for this interview, or should we wrap it up? Because I know it's like gonna be a bitch to edit, because I do know what it's like editing.
Yeah. There's only a couple things that I have to say. Best and worst moment.
Yeah, best moment I would say would be, I guess best moment was when we actually defeated the Eye. It just felt so good because we're just like, yes, we did it. Even though people died, we did an accomplishment. Yay. Worst moment was when I was literally stuck in a cave. Waiting for TJ, and then TJ coming down, and then dying, and then other people coming down, and then TJ's ghosts kill them, and we're just like, what the fuck? we did a 2-for-1, and it's not even the good 2-for-1. 2 deaths for 1 life. Like, what the fuck?
Just a couple more things. The first thing would have to be, what could you have done differently to not kill half the cast? That was kind of a jokey question, but it's
oh no, I wouldn't have done anything different. I would have I know my dumbass is like, damn, I want to go exploring. Anybody want to come with me? And they're gonna be like, Chicken, you know you're not good at this game, right? And I'm just like, yeah, but I want to see the jungle. I want to see the corruption. I want to see this dank cave. Okay, I was trying to be as careful as possible. If you saw my perspective, you always saw me always kind of having the pressure plate out because I am not as good as you guys. I always have to be very careful, always having my pressure plate out to see any traps and stuff like that because I don't know what to look out for. I don't know what traps look like. I don't know what boulder trap looks like. I don't know what TNT traps look like and stuff like that. So I always really have to be really careful and always check every single like step. And I hope people notice that in my gameplay. But I literally just like the one time I didn't have it, I was just like, oh, let's go forward. And then I see something super last minute. I'm just like, oh, I'm going to die. It just happens. Like I can't just play better. That's the difference. You guys could play better because of small execution errors. I can't play better because I just suck ass.
Damn.
And you know what? It's okay. It's fine being bad at games because you always see stuff and you're just like, what is this? What is that? Whereas if you're an expert, it's just like, all right, we have to go get the eye, go to hell, get the armor, go up. We have to go to the skill. Like, you know what to do. So it's like a lot more stressful. If you don't know what to do, everything's an adventure, you know?
Yeah. What do you think of this season compared to, well, not just like last season, but all of them really?
Way too much sitting around. That's the one thing. It really reminded me of Minecraft 1, where Minecraft 1, it was our very first time, so we really didn't know what we were doing, and a lot of the times we had people being AFK, going out to eat while we were recording, and it kind of like harked back to that because we weren't waiting because it's like we didn't know what to do. We were waiting because it took time to like build stuff or do the boring work.
Yeah.
So it kind of like harped back to that. So it really felt like a podcast mainly. I am sad that I didn't get to talk to Will. He died.
You did? Remember, you two were in your, or do you mean Cola?
No, Will. Well, like, okay, I like talking to Will, but you know what happened.
Yeah. Did you enjoy your class?
I actually did very like enjoy my class, even though a lot of people would be like, oh, that's just like boring. You just have a sword and you're really tanky. You know, it's safe. I kind of like moving around and stuff like that. You kind of saw that I used a bow a lot, but if I really wanted to be like what I wanted to be, I would just say like, yeah, give me a little bit of everything, but especially make me tanky so I don't die. You know, it's the noob friendly class. You know, you give the tanks to the noobs.
Any final things?
You want me to plug in my stuff like you usually
I forgot
do?
about that. I forgot.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry about it. I know the drill. I know what to do.
Yeah.
So Twitter is at Chickncup, ChickNcup. YouTube is the same thing. Subscribe and follow me at twitch.tv/chickencup. Remember, if you don't use your Twitch Prime, it's like you're losing 15 cents a day. So make sure to use it on me or your favorite Twitch streamer. Just helping everybody out. Did you also know that Goldenbrawler also streams?
Oh, hell yeah. I plugged that already, though. So.
Hey, always looking out for a homie, alright? We've been doing this for what, 4 years? 5 years?
3.5 at this point. 4 will be in November. I mean, technically, we started recording in June, so for us, yes. But
we started talking in my senior year, so that was already what, 4 years ago, I guess. Because I'm graduating in college right now. We talked a lot about hardcore and like starting it up.
Yeah.
And because like I feel like talking about it and like planning it out is like the first day, you know. So
I suppose, but if that's the case, you kind of joined in later because the first 3 of us, Cola, Grav, and I, we started planning. I'm going to actually look this up real quick. I don't think it's going to be too slow for me to do this. We planned around, when was Minecraft 4th? That was 2015, and that's when I first got the idea to do it. But obviously, it took a while to actually get to that point. When I think it was Minecraft 5 came out and Terraria 3 around that time is when we PBG stuff, like the official quote unquote, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was around, this had to be 2017.
Yeah, so that was 4 years ago, dude.
Yeah, it's been planned a little before, but like 2017 is when we were like, okay, we're actually doing this. Like, this is just an idea we're going with. I think that'll do.
I guess that's it.
All right. Thank you for your time, Sir Chickncup.
No problem, no problem. Sorry again that I couldn't be there. I was busy last weekend, and then I'm busy this weekend because I'm going over for a big tournament, like one of the first big tournaments after quarantine, and yeah.
Good luck, dude.
I'm gonna go too.
Any final things?
No. If you just want to, tell all your whole audience and stuff about anything else, just, you should say it. But that's just it for me.
I basically covered everything in the main post show, so this was just basically me going over stuff that I either had to bring up or other people brought up that I thought I should bring up here. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you so much.
Not the beast! Not the beast!
There are other thank yous to other people involved. Brian, Art, as per usual. Loof for assisting us with the overlay. The musicians, as per usual, like Kamix. I really don't know how to pronounce the other two. Coag Music and Cheshire. Cheshire did the OST for Madness Combat, by the way. Real cool shit. David, as per usual, for his narration. Top. Mwah, perfect. That bitched out. Oh, that was.
Oh, that narration killed me.
He did
that
that
kind of
perfectly.
just bitched out.
I just gave him like a list of stuff, and I was like, just have fun with it. And I had to cut a little bit because it was a little too long, but I kept basically all the good shit. It was really good. And obviously, shout out to BBG, since Hardcore wouldn't exist without him and his crew. And I'd also like to thank everyone from past seasons for joining in all of those. If you saw the credits, you might be interested on something that this may be the final season of Hardcore. I'm not certain yet, but... Or Goldenbrawler Hardcore, I always need to make sure.
It's the final season of Hardcore. I'll personally make sure no one ever makes one ever again.
After this, you're going to Ars Novea. The concept of hardcore is from the universe.
Is that the Inktober guy?
No, I'm referencing Fate Grand Order, a game
No.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the deal. If you make a hardcore from now on, you will be blocked from the channel. You will receive a DMCA strike from Goldenbrawler himself. We'll see you in court.
Oh god.
It's like that.
Just like, you can tell by the credits, I think, because I really flashed to every season and I tried to show everybody off that was in previous seasons, because this was like the pinnacle. Like, the whole idea with the Diamond was this was going to be a big 3-season-long project from the beginning. So, I think this was the best way to kind of push it to a close. I could continue, I'm not sure. It's just, this season has taken a lot out of me.
It's a lot of work. It's
Oh,
understandable.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for who's ever come on. It's always fun to have new people on. Like, when setting up the Diamond, that was kind of a big thing. Is like, obviously I wanted to have people from Nova, because Nova Quest is like the fan hardcore group that I know absolutely the most. And I feel like I generally mesh well with almost everybody from Nova I've met. I don't think there's been anybody that I've met from Nova that I've not liked or anything. You know what I mean? Like, and then I did want to branch out outside of Nova. So, like, with Nate and Nigel, those were two people. Nigel I wanted on for a while, and now he finally had me on his season, which was pretty cool. Fun Christmas. It's more of a mini, but you get the idea. And then, obviously, I wanted to have people who were more on the outskirts of the community, like Matt and Koro, who they're outside of that circle. Like, Koro's a friend of mine that did fighting game streams, and Matt just does random content. And then TJ's kind of said he's on the outskirts of the community as well, so, because he's not really been in much, so it's just nice to have everybody on, you know?
Yeah, I haven't been in much either. I find it funny because I loved watching the PvG hardcores, and I didn't know that people did fan ones, so it was really fun to be on the first one of Terraria that I did with the GB.
Yeah, And knowing there's like a whole community of people that make this stuff, it's really cool. But yeah, like I said, this could be the last season. Not entirely sure. We'll see. It's on hiatus, essentially. If it gets canned, I'm gonna announce it. If it comes back, I'll make sure to make a point about it. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And if this is the last season, I think this was a pretty damn good season to end off on, despite being a loss.
Yeah.
Because it was just a fun time.
It was a fun time.
Alright, so thank you everybody for watching. Everybody say goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Wait,
guys.
guys, let's be
Stop.
quiet. Chicken
Stop
has to
the
say
count.
goodbye first.
Oh yeah.
He
Go ahead.
left already, remember?
Yeah, he left a while ago.
Chicken, get
Wait,
back
I know
here.
both of our names start with a C, but come on.
Badunk. Chicken can.
Oh,
by the
chicken
way-
head.
I sent you a private message.
Yeah.
So,
Alright.
are you... Yeah, just say yes or no for that.
Yeah, you can say it.
Alright. We're giving Alec a PC. You no longer have Potato PC. You can now do stuff.
You can now have beef PC.
Not
A beefy
quite
boy.
beef.
Not beef.
We're gonna say like a nice pork chop, maybe.
Like a really well cooked piece of spam.
I don't think that's a good.
It's better than a potato, though.
Okay, I'm not really
You
sure
can
where to
stream
end
Risk of
this
Rain
off at
with
this
it.
point.
It's
so-
like if spam was made by Gordon Ramsay, because Gordon Ramsay can make anything.
Yeah. A restaurant made spam. You know, like there's videos where it's like gourmet chef makes
my God.
like Twix bars. It's
my
gourmet
God.
chef makes spam.
Gourmet chef
The
takes
ending of
Vienna
this whole
sausage
show
and
was
makes
ruined
gourmet meal.
completely.
Absolutely. So yeah, this is Goldenbrawler. This has been Goldenbrawler Hardcore. This could be the end, and if that's the case, thank you for watching the series.
Find us on
Everyone take
YouTube and
care.
Pornhub.
Bye.
Goodbye.